newest edition, Chicago Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. I am Joe Vitali. That's Skoks. Skoks had the opportunity to go to training camp. So he's got a bunch of awesome videos up on our Twitter page. So check those out. But Skoks is going to share his thoughts, and because there's some players that stood out, and maybe we can run through some way too early line combinations. And, so if you want to get a.
Yeah, man. So I was at practice on Saturday. It starts around 10 a.m., so plenty of time, just to get breakfast. Wasn't super crowded, to be honest. Even though it's a weekend practice, so you would think that there's, a few more people wanting to check it out, and it's free tickets, so that's great for everyone. But uh, they cleaned up the place definitely from last year. Uh, they have a small little merchandise area, shirts, sweaters, jerseys, hats. Um, Pretty straightforward, man. And seating was fine, because it wasn't super crowded. So you could pretty much just pick where you want. Center ice is always the best. And they started around 10:15 ish. And just like the overall feel from practice, right? I mean, just super high tempo, from Coach Luke. Um,
Nice.
yeah, like even Derek King. I believe Derek King was one of the first coaches out on the ice. With Drew Comesso was out there and Peter Mrazek. Mrazek looked sharp all throughout practice, so that's great to see. It's good to see him perform well in practice. But they get out there, stretch early with the goalie coaches. Comesso seems a little smaller actually in person, and I know he's listed as like 6'2" ish. So he's obviously going to fill out like his build. Throughout the years, a little more muscle, but he seems a little smaller, so that's pretty funny. But uh,
Yeah.
that's fine. He looked pretty sharp in the drills also. But just like the overall feel, man, just super high tempo, going coast to coast. So Coach Luke is usually down the middle, standing at center ice, directing people where to go, and you have coaches on the on one side. So like, let's call it the Derek King side, right?
Oh,
And
I
then
see.
yeah, and then the far side, um, on the left would have 2 to 3 coaches or training staff, and I believe one was also Chris Kunitz. I'm like 97% sure that's him because I think he is still sticking around with us on
I believe
staff.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was him. Still looks pretty big to be honest, but obviously staying in good shape to be out there with the staff. But they're running drills going from right to left or just left to right, so they're swirling around, cycling on like a 3-on-3, like a break in type of situation. So they're starting behind the net. Three guys, one defenseman, just cycling the puck up. And then they turn back around at center ice and then they fly in on a 3-on-0, um, on the goalie, just working on like their, I forgot what it's called, but Taylor Hall mentioned it in his interview.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's something like a drop back or like their rotations, where they're just cutting in super smooth on a rush,
Okay.
so you could throw off the defenseman or throw off like the goalie, you
Yeah.
know. So like Bedard drops the puck back, Taylor Hall uh, swishes to the left side, and they're just working on some chemistry right now. First week of camp, but that first line's been really speedy, really impressive so far, just from what we've heard and what I've seen. So it's good to see Taylor Hall out there for his first practice. I mean, that's great to see.
Yeah, a small lower body injury was nagging him,
Hmm.
so good to see him out there playing with the boys and what is going to be Chicago Blackhawks' first line,
Yeah.
probably with Taylor Hall and Connor Bedard, and then
Hmm.
Ryan Donato completing it on the right side over there. So
Hmm.
that's really cool. And then now Lucas Reichel is going to be, he spent the summer working on
Yeah.
his defense and his faceoffs. He's going to be a centerman. So you're probably thinking he's going to be 2C. That's what I would
Hmm.
think. I would think
Yeah.
Bedard, Reichel, and then Dickinson, and then pick whoever you want for
Hmm.
your fourth line. It could be Reese Johnson, it could be Mackenzie Entwistle, Colin Blackwell. I think
Hmm.
Colin Blackwell's still dealing with a nagging lower body injury
Hmm.
as well. So, maybe he sits out the first couple weeks and you get someone else in there. But,
Hmm.
the roster's starting to fill out. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's really cool. And then on the
Hmm.
back end, seems like they've got Wyatt Kaiser and Seth Jones together a lot,
Hmm.
and then Korchinski and Murphy. So it'll be Korchinski Murphy for on and off, and then Tenorti, and then they had Nolan Allen playing on his
Right.
offside,
Yeah.
right side, and I don't think Nolan Allen's going to make the
Hmm.
the big
Initial
roster
team.
yet, yeah,
Yeah.
the initial roster,
Hmm.
but good to see him getting some chemistry. And I think that's like a Jared Tenorti is what he wants, not like what he's striving to be, but I
Hmm.
think like that sort of play style, heavy
Right.
body, soaks up the pucks, gives like doesn't get out of position, but hits hard,
Yeah.
can get the puck up, but not necessarily isn't necessarily like a Duncan Keith or an Eric Carlson or something, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, man, that's looking good.
Yeah. Speaking of the lower back injury, right? First player on the ice super early, probably like 9:35 ish.
Mhm.
Jalen Lipin was out
Oh,
there. Yeah.
cool.
He was out there with a few trainers. I have a clip of it on our Twitter profile here. He was just doing some like cycling, like really bending his body more, cutting in,
Mhm.
um, rounding out the face-off circle. Just trying to stretch out more. It seems like so he's probably still dealing with it because he did not participate in drills, but he was out there early with trainers. It's good to see that he's getting better.
Right. He's not in like a boot or
No,
anything, or like a
no,
brace, or
no.
he's not participating at all.
Hmm.
He's getting in that injured skate right beforehand, doing a couple laps and testing it out. So yeah, that is a good sign as well, because
Hmm.
I think he's going to be an important player for the Rockford Ice Hogs.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very interesting player. In the WHL, he went from the Edmonton Oil Kings to the um, Tri City Americans.
Oh,
Um,
rad.
yeah, where he just, I mean, he popped off. Just really big contributor. In the offensive zone. I've really liked what I've seen from him, and I believe he was the other player a few years ago because we signed at the time he was just a like undrafted signing was Soderblom along with Lipin, and we
Oh,
drafted him in the seventh round. So I looked
yeah.
more into him, because it's such a late pick, but from that draft year, like he had a pretty decent offensive year, and then the next year after that, and this last year, like he's really just popping off. But a few issues with some injuries, so that has held him out a bit. So I hope he really fixes that, because he's been a really good player in the WHL there. So it's great to see him out there.
Definitely.
Yeah. I could probably touch on Nick Foligno
Yeah.
at practice. He's super vocal, man. He's always yelling, always like cheering, stick tapping, for good drills or good plays, right? He was mainly like playing with Bedard, like the whole practice, like he's calling Bedsy over, like Bedsy, on this side, because they're running like a 2-on-2, tight quarters drill. So like behind the net and then
Mm,
right in front of the net, like they have it like zoned off. So you're really working on that tight space, I mean, a lot of goals are scored just in the paint.
it's true.
So getting better at that, Felino helping out Bedard like in the paint, that's it's great to see. And Felino, he looks light on his feet, quick in the corners, like tight spaces, like the drill. But he's looking sharp.
Nice.
Felino, that's great to see. Yeah,
Yeah, and Nick Foligno, like kind of like that two-way power forward
yeah,
esque type, and so where does he earn his goals? Right in front,
yep,
he's a net front guy. He's bearing the greasers. So
hmm
nice that that Bedard has that type of knowledge accessible to him,
hmm
from a professional who earns his keep that way.
yeah. Corey Perry, the other vet, which we've been talking about, like, oh, they're here to, guide some of the younger players, just show them how it's done, right? To be a pro, but they've really taken it on. Like the whole time, it's Felino, Perry, Donato, a few other vets, Tyler Johnson,
Nice.
um, even like Seth Jones, like he's always talking to someone, right?
Right.
Whether it's coaches or man, like even Mackenzie Entwistle, right? Like they're always telling him something, and they might just be joking around or something like that, but it's definitely helping him, right? In his first training camp, it's great to see, man. Like the leadership, just like the guidance, it's awesome from the vets that we brought in. Um, what's it called? Taylor Hall, always talking to him.
Nice.
It's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool, man. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's really really nice to see. Um, you know, you bring the like vets in,
Mm-hmm.
tell them like, hey, they're here to guide us and whatnot, bring that presence, and you're seeing that presence on
Yeah.
the ice
From day
in these
one.
practices. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Connor Bedard, he's gonna give it his all. You
Mm-hmm.
saw the video of, oh hey, so what have you been doing, Connor? Oh well, I've been learning how to cook. Like, okay, yeah, like what do
Mm-hmm.
you cook? He's, oh,
Not
I just
much.
said that. I just said that to say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
He's
He just wants to play some hockey, man.
vet moves, man. He's got the vet moves in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's getting the vet moves on the ice. So it's just rounding out Connor Bedard's game, and
Mm-hmm.
people are going to want to go to war for him.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm really exciting to see.
Mm-hmm. Just touching on like the back end. So Seth Jones, thought he looked real sharp in drills in front of the net, just clearing out the paint, right? Which we've seen from the last few years. He's not very defensively sound, but it seems like he's definitely improving. Being in the system with Coach Luke, just helping him out as much as he can. But he's definitely looked like he's taking a step, just being more aggressive. Like in front of the net, always pushing, always fighting to clear space. And he's been paired up with Wyatt Kaiser. Obviously had a very strong like rookie camp, and the prospect showcase really showed out. His speed, puck handling, uh, like responsibility in the D zone. And from the practice that I was at on Saturday, and even reports from like Thursday and Friday, he's looked very sharp with Seth Jones. You know,
Yeah.
little smaller, little shorter, but he's super physical for like a 6 foot D man. I believe he's left-handed, yes, um, but super physical in front of the net, but behind the net. Whether he's on the rush, leading it, or if he's just trailing, like he's super engaged. Always has his eyes on the puck. Um, I think he's gonna find himself a spot on the initial lineup, and I wouldn't be surprised at all because of how he's played, practice, even spoke like to the media. I mean, he seems like a pro already. Yeah, it's great.
They did throw the C on his chest for the prospect tournament, which I
Right.
thought was
Hmm.
very interesting. So,
Hmm.
does prospect tournament doesn't mean that much, but the
Hmm.
fact that they thought to put a C on his chest, I think is something.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think his style of play, like the puck mover,
Hmm.
a little more nimble, um, balances out with a Seth Jones,
Yeah.
and then that brings us to the second pairing, which it looks like is going to be Korchinski and Murphy,
Hmm.
and that's also a nice little balance there.
Yep.
Korchinski's going to be the puck mover, the shooter, and Connor Murphy, he can sit back,
Hmm.
play D, make sure that Korchinski doesn't overextend, and if he does, bail him out.
Yep. Yeah, because even Coach Luke, in his interview, I believe a few days ago on Friday, he said that Korchinski could pinch in a bit, or if he decides taking it, like coast to coast, because he is super fast, man. Super long player, right? With the puck, he could, what's the word? Just like jump in a little too much or a little too far. Like he brings it coast to coast, but you know, the responsibility that someone has to have going back the other way, like in transition. Um, you don't always want to be taking those chances. Coach Luke said so. Definitely just polishing up his game, right? Like you don't want to take away from his speed, right? But just not every rush, right? Like this is not the Korchinski, Korchinski show. Like McDavid's going coast to coast, like every shift,
Right.
But he is obviously the best player in the world, so he can do that kind of stuff. But as a D man, just dialing it back, I think that was his phrase, just dialing it back when he needs to, and being on that pair with Connor Murphy, right? Uh, that's great to have him there on the right side. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Going to be interesting teaching Korchinski how to, like, stop thinking so much and just start, acting, instead
Right.
of
Right.
being like, okay, well, I think I can beat it here or whatever. Just like either do it or don't, and then we'll
Hmm.
get on from there. So, really excited for him. Really excited to see what he's going to bring this
Yeah.
season, because I think he's going to get probably 40 games,
Yeah. And I know the World Juniors comes up right around when was it? January, February?
I think it's like, yeah, late December, early January.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So we'll see. He's probably gonna participate in that. I would imagine he would participate.
I
Yeah.
would think so.
Yeah. So that'll be good, great to see. obviously, with Team Canada, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him back up. Just keep him with the big team. We'll see how he progresses, right? In the early season, first 30, 40 games. This is going to be a big year. This is a big year, a very fun year, right? Too.
Yeah.
Lots of guys to keep your eyes on. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of new faces. I think next season more of the same.
Hmm.
Even might even be like even more. I think you'll
Right.
probably get like Nazar. I think he'll probably
Ooh,
come over, and I think they'll probably let Moore go another year.
they could.
But
Yeah.
and then like you're gonna get guys like maybe like a Ludwinski or
Right. Right.
a Lipin and all these guys who are going to get either they're going back to juniors to ripen up a little bit more,
Hmm.
or they're going to be playing pro in the AHL for the Rockford Ice Hogs.
Right.
And that's going to be really, really great experience.
Oh yeah. And that's one name that I actually missed out on. Good thing that you reminded me. But Paul Ludwinski, he was out there with Samuel Savoie and one other guy, man, can't remember, but Ludwinski, definitely noticeable. His
Nice.
speed, he doesn't have like a great load up shot, right? But he's good in like close quarters in front of the net. Pretty nifty, man. Nifty player. Definitely has a lot of speed. I really like what I saw from him. I believe he's number 91 out there. Just
Interesting.
super, yeah, super noticeable. Um, every time they're running like a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3 drill, just super noticeable. Paul Ludwinski, yeah, definitely wouldn't count him out for like next year, even. Yeah,
Nice.
as like a
Perfect.
line three guy, line four guy. He's a great asset, to that bottom six. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Ludwinski, yeah.
Yeah. And then just to wrap up here, it's a
Mhm,
couple of familiar names
mhm,
signing professional tryouts. Artem Anisimov, he signed one with the Detroit Red Wings, which I think is very interesting.
mhm.
So he's 35, still
Wow.
playing pro puck. Um, was at the Lehigh Valley Phantoms,
Mhm.
Philadelphia farm system last season, and so good luck to him on a roster spot. And then Blackhawks legend Josh Bailey,
Yeah.
who Hawks bought out, he
Mhm.
signed one with Ottawa. So
Yeah.
I think, Ottawa's kind of gearing up to make a push here to try and get out of that Atlantic division. So they're going to need all the help they can get. Maybe Josh Bailey
Yeah.
moves that needle just a bit.
Yeah. Hawks legend for about what was it, like 3 hours
Yeah,
or
I was going to say.
something like that. Uh,
Yeah,
because we made the trade before like the second round started on day two, and then by round like 4 or 5, he was uh, bought out, and his Hawks tenure was over. Yeah,
and that's all she wrote
that's all she wrote for Josh.
for
Uh,
little Josh right there. That's
yeah,
that's funny.
that was it. Yeah, but coming up here this week, big week, very big week. Starting Monday, Hawks are having, I'm guessing, just a few hour scrimmage, right? Just an hour probably. Maybe with the two groups that we do have, because we still have the 55 man roster right now. So they will have scrimmage on Monday and Tuesday. So I will be there Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, very rad.
Yeah. And they will have referees, a little more organized, uh, get a better simulation out there, right? Just trying to find some chemistry, right? The right combos going into preseason. First preseason game is Thursday night um, against Detroit. Yeah, Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, we have the Wings on Thursday night. Yeah, so a big week.
Alex DeBrincat back
Mhm.
in town in a different sweater.
Yeah, the cat. His second return now. Second return. One with Ottawa and one with Detroit. Yeah, the
That's
cat.
gonna be weird.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be weird. You know, good player. Good player.
Yeah, I just I was hanging out with some buddies over the weekend, and I
Hmm.
went back to my buddy's place, and all of a sudden there's a preseason hockey game on. It was the
Hmm.
Australia game,
Yeah,
Yotes and Kings, and I was like, "Is this live? This is whoa, hockey's back, dude! This is awesome!"
yeah.
So hope you guys caught those because those are fun.
Yeah,
The lighting really bad. That was a barn for sure.
yeah. That one was rough. Similar to tonight, I believe there's a game on right now. With Canucks and who was it?
Flames.
Flames, right? Yeah,
The last I checked, it was
yeah.
9-0 Flames.
That's rough,
And
man.
Jonathan Huberdeau went to the locker room because he
Wow.
was injured. So
Ooh. Yeah. Not what you want
hopefully,
to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully nothing serious, but that's so wild. I mean,
Yeah.
it's preseason doesn't really mean much, but 9-0,
Yeah. That's crazy. Uh
yeah,
huh. Yeah. Well, something's not working, right?
something's not working. You got that
Yeah.
right.
Obviously, there's something wrong there.
There's
Yeah.
something wrong there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Hawks on the ice play
Mhm.
some somewhat meaningful games, more meaningful games than the prospect showcase.
Yep. Hmm.
And if you got anything else to add, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
That's about it. Yeah. Just a big week. Starting with
Yeah,
scrimmages, and we're on. Preseason starting Thursday night. Yep.
yeah. Look for a lot of good content coming out of those scrimmages,
Hmm.
and see what Team Red or Team White, however they,
Yep.
put it together, and see how they go. And that's been Chicago Blackhawks Central. I've been your host, Joe Vitali. That's Skoks. Join us next time for next episode. Thanks for watching this, and go Hawks.
Let's go, Hawks.